This is John Young with Weekend Sportsman. We've reached about the midpoint in the ice fishing season here in Minnesota, and I wanted to give you an update on some of the gear we've been using, some successfully, some not so much, just to give you an idea of what is out there and working well if you're going to make some of these last-minute decisions on gear towards the end of the season. So today we're going to be looking at the DeWalt version of kind of that big buddy heater that a lot of us have grown up with using in our fish house, what have you. This is their 20-volt max. It uses the 20-volt max battery here that snaps in the back, and you can have a variety of different amp-hour batteries. I've been using I believe this is a 3 amp hour battery, and it uses about a third of that battery in the course of an evening. Yesterday this with the fan ran for about an hour. It was heating for approximately 5 hours yesterday. Works wonderfully for our fish house. We have a hub style that's an 8x8, 8 foot by 8 foot, and we put that in there, and we can actually run occasionally on a day when you just want a little. We've actually been running the pilot, just the pilot light in here on some days, and you can actually tell that makes a difference. And then, of course, it has low and high settings. We also have a fan. Listen. That's the fan, which will help circulate some of the air. Now, it's not a big, serious flow. There's a little bit of air that moves. And when you're fishing about 5 feet away and you turn the fan on, you can feel the warm air kind of lofting your direction from the fan. Without that, the warm air just kind of goes up and around. So the fan does work a little bit. It doesn't give you that big blast of air that you would expect from like our furnace, but does a pretty nice job. Also has a light on the top. On off. Operation is very simple if you have not seen one of these before. Inside right here we have our little igniter here, and we also have some USB ports. And I've got a little USB light from a different company that we're going to be looking at in a series of videos that we can plug in there and turn that little light on its gooseneck to be able to illuminate the hole that is right off to the side here. Really kind of nice and convenient. That's all right there. And of course that's powered with that 20-volt max in the back. You've got your turn and pilot, push to ignite. It's an electric ignition system, a little battery. Quick, simple. Hold it for a little bit while it starts up. You can turn it to low, turn it to high. Works incredibly well. Right now, this is probably the thing that I don't like about it the most is that this doesn't always close simply and easily. It has 2 tanks, one on either side. And I'm just going to open this one up because this is over on my side. And there's 2 little tanks. Now I've got a refillable one I've been using, and that's going to be featured in another video also. But I've been using the refillable ones in this, working wonderfully with that. I can get on a tank, I can get about 5 to 6 hours of use on a full tank here, running it on low. We did run on high a couple of times just to test it out and see if it would make a big difference or if the fan made a bigger difference. High or fan, low on fan, we're kind of similar. Obviously there's a little more heat coming out on high, but it goes through the propane. So that's why I went refillable. And I could have the hose to put this to a 20 pound or a 30 pound, and then it would last obviously a lot longer. Instead of 1 pound, now I've got roughly 18 to 20 times as much. You don't have to have, because there's spots on both sides, you don't have to have, and I've got a purchased one right there, the little Coleman. You don't have to have 2 in there because it's a little needle valve in there, and once you have a tank on there, the needle valve is activated. Once you take it off, the needle valve basically closes, so I could just be using one side and not both sides. And it doesn't matter if I'm using one side or the other. You just need to have one to get at least some gas to it. Overall, this I think has been a great addition to our camping, our fishing in our tent, which is like camping. Probably the biggest thing that's cool about it, beyond the fan and light, is it has a real grill on it. Some of these that are out there have got a really thin gauge wire. This is a heavy wire that we're looking at here, and this isn't going to bend without a major hit. Where I've seen some that are just a really thin chrome wire, and I was after somebody pointed that out to me, I was surprised at the difference between this one and some of the other versions out there that have got a very flimsy cage on that. So for those of you who want to get one of those additions where you can have it so you have a little bit of a heating surface on here, you need to have a good solid protections grid here in front, the mesh wire, heavy duty. You definitely want to check that out. I'll put a link in the description below so you can check this out. But this again is DeWalt's version of their little heater. I believe it's around a 12,000 BTU. It has, again, low and high, so it's probably about a 6 and 12. Whatever it is, you can check that information out. We've been using it. We've been really happy with it out in the fish house, and it's something that we're going to continue to use and put those sunflower heaters off to the side, I guess. This is John Young with the Weekend Sportsman. Thanks for watching.